Welcome to the inaugural episode of Wrestling Cards Unabridged. I don't quite have the setup I want yet, but I really wanted to get this episode out because it's been on my to-do list for about 2 months now, because I did a box opening that I'll be sharing, but I didn't want to do that as my first episode, and that was back when Dolph Ziggler just won the NXT title, so you can imagine how long ago that was. And this is actually what the whole channel, and because this is what I used to blog about, wrestling cards, and then the channel kind of took off in a different direction with wrestling interviews, meeting wrestlers, current wrestling, and wrestling memorabilia and stuff like that. But this was always kind of where it started, was with wrestling cards. I used to do a blog on wrestling cards. It didn't have that much of a following or anything like that, but now I think it's time. I want to talk some wrestling cards. I want to do it a lot, and I want to share some stuff. I've been very private with my collection up to this point, and so there'll be some new stuff that's coming out. And actually, so I might as well just throw the really big one out there right away, and we're going to wait until episode 5, but this will be the teaser and maybe keep some people interested. But episode 5, we're going to have a reveal of a rookie card that no one has ever figured out that it's someone's rookie. I got it about many years ago. I'll just say I don't want to do too many spoilers because you guys will be able to figure out who it is and exactly. But it's a licensed card. Unfortunately it's not traditional size. It's oversized slightly, but it's part of a licensed set, in fact, where there's other cards involved as well. And it's the true rookie of this person, and there's obvious ways to tell that it's the true rookie. And I thought, it's with people figuring out everything else in the wrestling card industry, I thought someday this card would come out and people would realize that it's the rookie, and it never has. So now I'm beginning to think it's a very rare card, and I'm really in a very rare set for that matter, and I'm really excited about it. And I would call this person between top 10 and top 20 wrestler of all time. I guess it depends on how you're going to go doing it with some of those foreign wrestlers, like El Santo from Mexico obviously would have to be a top 10 wrestler of all time, but we really don't collect El Santo cards. I know a few people do, not offending them either at this point, but you don't really consider El Santo. He's not one of the big collections. I know there's a couple Japanese wrestlers that would come in the same, but so in the current collecting era, you can almost put this wrestler in the top 10. And I can't believe that no one else has ever discovered the rookie. And I'm like, well, I guess I've sat on it long enough now. And because the only disadvantage would be to be sharing it is now other people can search for it, and I'm not going to be able to get the second one or the second set. But at the same time, what's the point of having it if no one else is even considering it the rookie, besides the fact that I know it is? So, but we're going to save that one for episode 5. But don't worry, until then, I actually do have a few other episodes planned that I'm hoping to be excited. But I don't want to bore you guys too much because we want to talk wrestling. That's when I'm here. That's why I'm here. I'll give you just a little background. I've actually been collecting wrestling cards since 1985. I remember going around and trying to put together the 85 top star, the basic 85 Series 1 US version. And because I was young enough that my dad was buying me the cards at that time, and my brother and I we collected baseball cards and football cards and stuff like that. But wrestling was definitely my true love even at that point yet, and that was right when Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling came out. And so if you've actually watched other videos, nothing to do with cards, but other videos on my channel, you'll see the same thing there. But I remember we would go around and we would buy the wax packs of them, and then if I got duplicates, I'd trade them with my brother. Actually, if my dad was buying them, in that case, we might have even had to give our duplicates away. My dad was very generous, and we were very sharing as a family too. So I don't know. We were trying to put together our own set, and I remember my 2 cards in my set that I could never get was the Fabulous Moolah. I believe card 13, Fabulous Moolah. And so that card kind of holds a special meaning to me. And Appetite for Mayhem, probably one of the easier cards now. Probably one of the least valuable cards nowadays. It's George the Animal Steel getting into the turnbuckle. But so finally we found rack packs. If I don't know, I think they still call them rack packs today. Because people, I think they sell them on eBay as rack packs of the 3. You could see actually in essence 6 cards. And I don't remember if the backs were the stickers, so I don't remember if you can see 3 cards or 6 cards. And someone might have to, hey, My first comments on that. If someone wants to comment, did you get to see 6 cards on rack packs, or did you only get to see 3? But we found I think there are 2 separate rack packs, but maybe my brother might have found one that he needed at that too. So we finally completed the set. I still have that set, unfortunately, not in mint. We did not. Actually, it probably isn't too bad because we kept our cards in pages, but it's hard to keep cards from 1985 until today. And so that's kind of, I've collected wrestling cards ever since. I've been a wrestling fan my whole life. There's a few years right after the Attitude Era, and it wasn't even so much that I lost interest in wrestling, it's just life got kind of busy. Like about 2002, 2003, I didn't really have a lot of time to watch wrestling or deal with wrestling or do anything wrestling. But I got back into it in about 2005, and then ever since then. And so, yeah, I'm trying to, part of the reason I even want to do this is I want to really figure out what my collection is. I found about 600, I've actually just passed 600,000 wrestling cards that I've found, and I'm pretty sure I have a few more boxes of them. I'm thinking I maybe have like about 700 to 750,000 in my collection right now. And so I figure someday maybe I'll get to 1 million. That'd be kind of cool. I have 3,000 cards on the way to me right now through the mail. So that's kind of, yeah, maybe we'll get to 1 million. We'll have to do a special episode on that. Actually, it's another quick story then. And in 86 or 87, it probably would have been, I actually bought a set of the famous All-Stars. And so that, I actually still have that today. And actually, I actually kept that one up pretty well. And that's one of my favorite sets that I have now. Well, it's kind of ironic because I have a bunch of All-Stars. I think 9 of them that are sealed. And it's the only one I deal with really is the Hogan, Andre, Flair. I think it's 82A. And so those are like some of the worst parts of my collection, is because I don't want to touch them. I don't want to handle them. They're sealed, and so they're locked away in a safe, and I don't see them ever. And so I don't even really consider them wrestling cards, because right now they're more just like future holdings. It's like my retirement fund practically. So, but I do have one set that's opened from 1987, and actually that I kept in really good. I actually just looked over it. Unfortunately, the Hogan, it would not grade a 10. There was something, I think it was a printing error on it. But the Flair and the Flair and the Andre were both very nice. Actually, I found a Kerry Von Erich that was really nice too. I don't even know if that was the same set, but Flair and Andre, I'm not and that's what you'll learn about me as we do these episodes too. I'm not really a PSA person. I've never submitted something to I've actually never submitted something to any grading system, not grading system, but grading company on my own. I've got maybe 10 graded cards right now. Actually, I have about 15. I think I have about 15 graded cards right now, and a couple of them, just for the most part, they were high enough that I just wanted to make sure I had an authentic one, and not like a reprint or a counterfeit one or something, and something. So we'll get into that in future episodes too. But I'm not really a grading person. But I do have an Andre and a Flair that I know the Hogan. I mean, it would have been so cool to be like, hey, this could be even a PSA 9 Hogan. I know would be amazing. And this Hogan is not a PSA 9. This is but the Flair and the Andre both have a lot of potential. And so those, and then another 82 All-Star Sets A I have is still one of my favorites, is because I bought this. This was bought more recently, but still a long time. It was under $100. It was the whole set, and it was under $100 because it was from a scrapbook. And so all of them have tape residue on the back from where they were taken out of the scrapbook. The fronts are very nice. And, I mean, you can't even, it looks like they were, because they were actually in a scrapbook, so they're actually really well taken care of. But I love that set because it's like I can look at that set and I don't worry about touching it. And maybe you can relate to that, but I collect for fun. I mean, I like I said, I have some in there for an investment, but I mostly collect for fun. That's why I don't do the PSA thing at this point, and maybe that'll change too. I understand it and the pros and cons, and that's something I really want to do with these episodes. It's one thing that really frustrates me. I love watching other people talk about wrestling cards, discuss wrestling cards, and whether it be live or whether it be Twitter or however else you wanna, wherever else they're doing it. But don't you notice that people push their own agendas. People push their own stuff, and so if they have something, then that's the end all be all. And if they don't have it, then they kind of throw it. And I understand that, because if they don't have, they want their, they want their stuff to hold. And how you can get your stuff to hold the value? You're gonna do it. You're gonna hold a lot of value with it. And so why you don't want these other things? You want your sets to be number one. And then but then you watch people, and all of a sudden they'll obtain a Grail card. I'll call it a Grail card. That may be a little bit too high, but they'll attain one of these things they don't have, and then all of a sudden, this is something that's out now. All of a sudden, it's good, and you almost have influencers in the hobby, and unfortunately, I think they control too much about what's valuable and what's not valuable, and I understand, because I think, but all hobbies have influencers like that, and that's what do it. But so that's what I'm really going to try to do, is I am not going to just push what I have, and if I don't have something, not push it. And the first example will be Prism, the Panini Prism. I love the Panini Prism. Actually, as we're doing this episode, I know the Revolution is out as well, and I would love to tell you the third set that's just about I think the third set drops like in the very soon, and just that's how up on it I'm at. I actually don't even know the name of the third set. The third set looked really, I looked at all of them. They all look really cool. I love all three of them. I really love the Prism. I love the idea of the parallels. I'm a big parallel guy in almost every other set possible. So, but these Panini were just a little bit, I didn't like the price point. I didn't like the starting price point, and now the price point's gotten a little better. So I have a couple, and check out my cards. So I think I have 7 Panini Prism cards total. They're all parallels. I don't even have any base or anything yet, and I don't have any high dollar ones. I have 7 of them, and I think I'm going to push it as a great set. I think it's a great set. I've watched the argument, and some of the boxes have gone way down, and they're probably the parallel singles have gone way down and stuff too, and that's why I've kind of jumped on them when I've had the opportunity. And I have 2. I really like just all the colors. I loved the 49 teals, even though those are a little hard. I've actually got 2 of those, and ironically I got 2 of those of people that I see online on the wrestling sites or wherever, of super collectors collect these people. I grabbed 2 of the 49s. I feel kind of bad about that, so maybe someday in the future I'll try to come up with a trade. Right now they're at Check Out My Cards, and I usually only get about 1 shipment a year. I usually just keep everything there because it's so much easier, unless there's something really big that I need. So so I have like 2 49s, and the reason I kind of jumped on those is because they're like mid-range people. They're not, I don't like the very bottom people. Like, I don't want to insult any wrestlers here, because I kind of like someone like, I like R-Truth as I like a lot of stuff about R-Truth, but I'm really not that excited about R-Truth cards. I really didn't want R-Truth to be my 49 parallel. And then so I picked up some, I like the blue ones, and I should know the numbers, and I really don't. I want to say 199 on those, but actually that could be 299. There's so many numbers. That's the thing. I love the whole concept. I love the parallels. I love the way they look. And so yes, and there's as we speak, there's a Hogan 149 going on auction. It's going to end possibly even during this episode as I'm taping, and it's already up to way more than I was going to pay for a Hogan 149. And I love Hogan, and I would have loved that card, but it wasn't meant to, it's just kind of fun. And I know that you guys are probably with me on this. Is like, there is so much wrestling. That's part of the fun. It's for someone like me who, as you'll learn, I'm kind of an all-over collector, and I don't sell a lot. I'm one of those people that when the people online are like, oh yeah, this will get in someone's collection, and then it'll just stay there forever. And that's kind of the way it is, because I've sold, like, the only thing I've sold in the last few years is a few very high-end things that didn't fit into my collection, that I just thought didn't have much value. And then all wrestling cards went up, so of course all these cards went up too, but I'm not kicking myself for them, because all wrestling cards went up. And so I sold the things that I wanted to get rid of. One of them really went up, and that was the one I didn't think it would, and it ended up going up way more than it was, but actually I made a really good turnaround on it too, so I'm not complaining about that. So I get kind of, so all these things are in my collection, and they just kind of stay there. But so I try to collect for things, and you could go after, you could go after the new stuff, you could go after and now there's kind of a reinvigorating of like the 14 and 15 chrome. I've seen that really hot lately. And then you could go back. Some people are like jumping on the Fleer, and we have the old Topps chrome, even like the 06 and 07, which is really interesting. You still have your WCW autograph collectors, and that actually is something, unless I'm missing something, that seems to have actually cooled a little bit. That maybe a few years ago that seemed to be a lot hotter. Maybe it's just kind of slowed down a little bit, or maybe you just don't get it online as much. But even the prices seem like they've kind of balanced a little bit, and that's because maybe some of these people are just going after new things. And then of course you have your all-star collectors, and now 85s are kind of getting into that range as well for the people who, because the all-stars are kind of, everybody knows about the all-stars now, so it's kind of what you do there. And then you have some vintage collecting too. And so, and part of the problem with me is like I do all of it, so then I have no idea what I should be going after right now, which is why I'm not trying to jump too high into Panini, because I have about 3 other big things I'm working on right now, and about 10 other semi-big things I'm working on right now. I'm not going to share everything, and that's kind of part of the problem too, is if you share too much online, then people know, like, there's this one card that is only going to come out, like, it's going to come out once, maybe in the next 3 years. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 1 copy of it, and I definitely don't think we'll see 2 copies in the next 3 years, and I definitely think there's a chance we might not see any copies in the next 3 years. I've been looking for about 2 years right now, and I haven't seen one, and it would be about 100. Anyway, I could see anywhere between actually even 75 to 150. It depends on the right auction or the right whatever at the time. And I need that card for something that I'm doing right now. I'm ready to buy it now for 400, no problem, because I know there's at least one other person that needs it. I think there's actually 2 other people that need it. And like I said, if we're only gonna get one every 5 years, then it's just, so if it goes on, so whoever puts it on, I hope they don't put it on auction, because then everyone finds it and that thing's just they're gonna do great on that auction. But if it comes out like a buy it now for 300, buy it now for 400, I'm jumping on it. And so that's the one thing I'm going to be a little careful with. I don't want to say everything that I'm doing until after it's done, because I don't want to get all my stuff to the point where I can't afford it, because other people know that I want it. And I know you have some good collectors out there, and there'll be some people that are like, oh, well, we'll help you. And there's some people that will legitimately help, and actually probably more, and I do appreciate that. And I would always, that's, I think, like I said, with those teals, eventually when I get them, I would be more than willing to make a fair trade, or if they don't, I like trading more than selling, or I would sell them at a reasonable, I'm not going to jack up the price just because I know that they're a super collector. I would just say, hey, this is about how much it's worth, or I can get an equivalent teal back, offline. If you don't have anything to trade, then just give me $8 or whatever, or however much it is of the tile. I'll kind of look at it and see, hey, I wouldn't mind this person. I can buy this person for $8, and so you can have it for $8, and I'll just consider that a trade. And I know people will help me in that way and stuff too. But at the same time, like I said, I don't feel bad about that. I know that this one card is, people need it to complete things that they need to complete too, and so I'm gonna just that just tripled the price of it, in my opinion, because if we're going to see 1 copy every 5 years, I want that copy, and I'm willing to do it. And I'll tell, there'll be other there's one story that actually just about a month ago that I just finished a great thing. This is one that I wouldn't have been competing, but this is one I hate overpaying for cards, but man, when you spend $60 on a card that should have been $12, but it completed something really cool for me, and we'll get into that in future episodes as well. I don't want to do everything. And actually, as you can tell by the title, let's get into the main purpose of this episode, and that is, kind of the question I want to ask is, what is, if you had someone just getting, and we have a lot of new collectors, what is the greatest non-numbered card out there right now? And I don't want graded either. No grading and non-numbered. And I know the numbering thing kind of thinks a lot of the newer stuff is numbered, a lot of the older stuff isn't numbered. And that's going to be the first story I kind of share. And this is going to be the first time I've ever tried to show a card on camera. So I don't know how well I'm going to do this, because I don't know how close I need to get this to do it. But one of my favorite pulls of actually I didn't pull this out of it, I bought this, but is the Triple H, and this is a very, very rare card, as you know. Actually, the unfortunate part is, do I need to get that a little closer? I hope you guys can see that. When I'm editing this, if it's horrible, I might just have to use this as my cover or whatever. But this is the Triple H autograph card, and this was from the 2012 Best in Class top set, as they call it. And I believe it was about it was either like 143,000 or 144,000 packs. And so I did a little math, and I'm pretty sure there's either 9, 10, or 11 of these total, which is actually still a decent number, because you think about stuff out of 10. But I think this is a little bit more of a chase, because it's like this is the one chase card of the set. It's not like because like there's out of the 10 Prisms, but The Rock has an out of 10, Stone Cold has an out of 10, Hogan has an out of 10, Andre has an out of 10, Braun Breaker has an out of 10. All those people have out of 10s. And this was like the really odd, and he had the one autograph from All Access at this time, but I believe this was his second autograph. He might have had, and you can always tell from like a Raw Deal has some odd ones, and even those ones from Great Britain, Slam Attacks, he might have, I'd have to look at that, but yes. So I pulled this off of eBay. I'd buy it now. I'm not going to tell you what I paid for it, but it was, even at that time, it was an amazing, I knew exactly what this card was, and I bought it as like a regular autograph price at that time, and so buy it now. And I probably got it about a minute after it got listed, so you always worry then someone else is going to find it and email the seller. And this was, I think this was a little easier to do that and say, hey, I'll give you way more. And even though this seller was actually someone I've dealt with before, and always has been honest and a great seller, got a great reputation, so I had a little bit more confidence there. But yeah, it was just, I knew exactly what this card was. I didn't realize how rare it was, but I knew it was one of those cards that just make a collection. So this one, I don't think this is the best unnumbered, because this is unnumbered, and like I said, I think there's 9, 10, or 11 of them in production right now. And the only other one I've seen on they have a picture on this one when they're talking about Triple H's best cards, and so I don't know if they got that as a stock photo or if there's actually another one floating around. I've never seen another one floating around, and so it's kind of an interesting one. And then, I mean, if I don't even know what, if you had like like if you put it on auction, I don't even. This is one of those that I'm not going to put this. I have no desire to ever put this on auction. I mean, at this point, at least in life, and so it's one of those that's like, how much would this actually go for? I guess the question would be, is there two people that want it? And if you had two bidders, where would that go? If you had two bidders who were really invested in it and who had the funds to invest in it, where would it go to? It'd be one of those. It'd be a cool experiment, but I don't play around on. I mean, I don't play around. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put it on some Norman out and see the bids I get for. If I do sell it, it'd be when I actually want to sell it. But it does really pique my curiosity. But I don't think this is the best non-numbered card. But that kind of got me thinking, well, what is the best non-numbered card? Like I said, we're not talking PSAs or any other grading. We're talking just a raw non-numbered card, and we're not going to go too vintage here, because then what if you found like a Bronco Nagurski Parkhurst that you'd almost think is a PSA 10, even though it's not graded. I mean, that would be obviously an amazing card. And even back in some of those tobacco cards, like a Gotch or something that was like that. So we're going to kind of start with semi-modern, kind of starting in the 70s, I guess, when some of the newer stuff came out. And so then, and it was kind of like, well, what's numbered and what's not numbered. And then, but then as I was doing this, and as I was trying to kind of think about it too, is like it's amazing because you kind of have to look, and this is what I will use PSA for is like their population report. That's actually, I love numbers, which is probably why I love collecting so much. And it's amazing the numbers and PSA's just they were brilliant in doing the set because a lot of people collect for they want to be ranked. They want their collection to be the best. I mean, you hear that, you see that online a lot. You see people want. I mean, unfortunately, you even see a lot of like people getting upset about it, and if you're not giving them their just due. So PSA has the population report and then the set registry too, which is really brilliant. Because that makes people go to PSA and they want to watch their sets go up. They're going to grade more so that their sets can go up and stuff like that. So I do really respect PSA in that matter. I'm not really going to turn this into a grading episode yet. We'll have a full episode on grading somewhere down the line. It's not going to be episode 2 or 3 either because it's not really something that, like I said, not something that really is on my radar right now. But what is the top unnumbered card that's just raw? So we're just assuming good condition. We're assuming looks mint. I guess as you get a little older, you could maybe have just a little bit. But if you were just like someone coming into wrestling collection, they want an unnumbered card. It's like, what is the card to get? And so I think we'll start from oldest and move on, and we'll talk about each card. And this is kind of what I'm hoping. Maybe you guys can discuss down below. I'm going to throw in some opinions. I don't think we're going to come up with an absolute answer today, but I think with some of the numbers we can come up with some ideas. But tell me I'm wrong, or tell me I'm right, or tell me what you think. Tell me what I missed. And so I'm going to start with the 1973 magazine set, the hand-cut set from the magazine. So actually the first 3 are going to be the 3 magazine sets, 73, 78, 81. And 3 very interesting sets because 73 you have Andre. And this actually, you could always go with the 72 Andre. Actually, we should start with the 72 Andre, actually. That's my fault. 72 Andre, it's a Monster Romanoff card. And it's out of I believe out of Gong, and it's not even, actually, let's see, I should look this up if it's even listed. And just please bear with me for a second. And because let's get this correct, so I don't offend the people that have this card. Well, we have, I believe, a 72, actually I'm not seeing it on on the Gong checklist so I might be wrong. I thought I've seen a 72, Andre the Giant card. So let's see, but let's start with the 70. I'm going to look this up right now as we're going. 72 Andre. See if anyone has one for sale, and we can go with that. Yeah, here we go. The 72 Wrestling Monster Bromide, they call it. And we have, like right now on eBay, we have them going for, it looks like anywhere between 4,000. We have a graded one by one of the I wouldn't call it one of the major grading companies, 3,200. And so we have that Andre the Giant. That's a very interesting card. It's a little different as the back of it. It's kind of in a magazine. And let's see if we can see the back of it on one of these. Here's one in a holder, but we get to see. Oh yeah, the back. Yeah. So that's what I thought. Maybe it has Dr. Don Leo Jonathan on the reverse, so it's kind of like a dual card. And so that kind of, honestly, it's a cool card, but it kind of, I think, ruins. I don't like a back-to-back. I mean, it's because it's not like the Chrome WCW cards where they had one and then even the kind of I'm thinking 2010 Platinum WWE for that. Those inserts had like Kane and Vader. If I'm getting the people right. And people like that, and so you had like your comparisons of people. This is just, it's like we're just kind of putting two. So is it a real card? So there's where you start. So you have that one. I don't have any numbers on that one. The 73 Andre is just the magazine hand cut, but it's kind of cool with the magazines because you have 73. You have Andre the Giant's possible rookie. You have 78. You have Flair's, and then 81. You have Hogan. I think Hogan has another 81 card out there too. But so you have kind of the big three separated in three different magazines. And I mean, the big three from back then, I mean, like Austin Rock and stuff, of course, aren't going to have anything anywhere close to that old. So 73 is Andre. The 1973 magazine seems like, for some reason, is it the most common magazine, or is this the one people want to grade the most? Because the PSA report that I saw today, 70 Andre the Giant 73s have been graded, and out of 845 total cards in the set. So you have that, you have the Flair 78, only 11 Flairs have been graded out of 112 cards total in the 78 set. And the Hogan's a little bit more, 19 graded out of 148. So both the 78 and the 81 have a lot in the hundreds, and 73 has 845 cards, and even the Andre's 70 compared to both of them in the teens for Hogan and Flair. So Andre's the oldest, but yet it's still by far the most graded. And possibly the most common then of the three magazines, which I don't understand completely. So I don't think that I don't think the actual magazine is that much more common. I just think the grading is more common on that one. So there you have three cards right there. Positives is you have old card. The Flair, definitely. I don't think anyone's ever considered. I mean, that's got to be the first Flair card. The Hogan is the first year card, and the Andre, you could fight the 72 card too, but it's still it's a single Andre card, and they were distributed as cards. Yes, they were paper stock. There's a negative, and they were cut off. So I actually, out of the three, I like the Hogan the best, and that's probably because I'm biased towards Hogan, but I think the Hogan's a hard one to get, but I really like everything about the Hogan. But all three of those would be considered, but I don't think any three of those would be the card. If you were saying this is the one non-numbered card to get, would be the card to get. So then you go into the 81, and that would be the other Hogan. I want to say, is it pronounced Kajawara Hogan? There's actually 134 cards in that set graded, and 6 of them are Hogan's. So there's one that you pretty much, if you have any cards from that set, you're getting them graded. 6 of them happen to be Hogan. So that's even half of the Flairs, and that's a third of the whole other 81 Hogan's. So that is even rarer. So there would definitely be a possibility. The 81 Hogan, where there's only 6 of right now. Then, of course, you're going to hit to the 82 All-Stars, which is pretty common, and I mean, everyone talks about them. So I kind of looked at 4,000, this is just from Series A, 4,160 cards have been graded from that set. 274 Hogans. So you already have 274 Hogans graded, and 4,000 cards a set, but at the same time, I mean, that's one of those sets that people grade, and then they go for more money after they get graded. That seems like a heavily graded set. A lot of people, I mean, I'm probably one of the exceptions. Is you don't keep that set, and just don't grade it. You go get it graded, and you do, and people, and now they're going for the autographs too. I'm not into secondhand. I have a few autographs that I've gotten on cards on myself, and I like them, but I really don't. I've never bought a secondhand autograph from anybody. So unless it's on I'd buy the Topps autograph of the Triple H. I mean, this is obviously in essence a secondhand autograph too, but this is licensed. And so I don't buy secondhand autograph. No desire for them whatsoever. So sorry, I probably just lost a few of you. All of a sudden, 15 windows close and you're not listening anymore. But it's just my opinion. So that you have the 82 All-Star set. So there's one you could definitely consider. I'd say the Hogan, because you have the Flair and the Andre too, but the Hogan is, I would say, the card to get in that set. And so 274 Hogans have been graded at this point. So it's definitely attainable, especially if you don't need one in pristine. I mean, some of the latest I just saw, I want to say the mid PSAs, you're talking over 1,000 for at least. I mean, like PSA 4s and 5s, I think are going for 1,000, and that's a lot. And for a card that they say is not even in perfect shape. And so there you have a Hogan. 82 All-Star. I think you have to throw the 85 Topps Hogan into the mix. And I know the OPC, or in essence the Scanlons, would be rarer, but the 85 Hogan card number 1 is just kind of iconic. It's there's 5,821 total, but there's 1,156 Hogans graded. So 1/5 of the cards graded from that set are Hogan. I mean, even go back to the 82 All-Stars, you have about 120. I mean, that's a little 1/18th. So about 12% of the 82 All-Stars are Hogans that are graded, and here you have about a fifth of the cards in the 85 Topps set that are graded are card number 1. And you have a card number 16 that some people say is just as good. I think overall people like it a little less. If you ask me personally, I would consider card 1 the true base card, and I guess 2. But I love card 16. And if you haven't noticed by now, I love Hogan, and so that is a fun card. Both of those cards are fun, and so. But I'd call card 1 it's card 1. It's a true base, and because card 16 is just his world champion card, and no other card in that set matches that. So that's kind of a special card. It's still a really cool card. So, but I don't have the numbers on the card 16 being graded, but you have a fifth of the cards in that set being graded. I mean, nothing else is even close to that. I mean, because the Flair was 10% and of the cards, and we'll see as we get into other ones. So that is the one card that people want from the set. So there's just an iconic card. It's not going to obviously be worth anywhere close to the 82 Hogan, but there's just an iconic card right there that's not numbered. There wasn't much after 85 for a while. You could kind of throw in your 85 3Ds. Possibly, I didn't really spend too much time on those. They're kind of oversized, and that's going to be another issue too. We're not going to get too much into that today. So the next card I went with is the Rock Auto from '98. This card's really picked up lately, and it's just kind of the numbers have really picked up. Ironically, there's only 19 of those graded according to the PSA website today. I almost thought that was a typo, because it seems like there should be more. I guess people just aren't getting that graded, because that's what I've seen. So I wonder if it's just the same couple getting posted around, or I wonder if I'm missing something on the website. Like I said, I'm not a huge PSA guy, so if I'm missing something on the website, let me know. But 21 cards in the set were graded total. 19 of them were The Rock, and so that card's been well over $1,000 raw. So that's a very interesting card. So you kind of got the Rock, and I believe this is still his only wrestling auto, and it's back to very near his rookie year. I know the '97 Paninis come out stickers, so that would be definitely an iconic card to get. So maybe for your more modern collector, that would have to be considered one of the greatest cards, is the Rock Auto. The other card, I believe, is from '98. I couldn't find any PSA information on this, and so once again, I might be looking in the wrong spot. But the Hardcore Hacks, I wanted to throw in a WCW card because they're so. I know the collections are out there, and I think Hardcore Hack is kind of. I know there's some that weren't officially in the market and people have picked up, and so if anyone WCW collector wants to educate us and educate me down below, just tell me what's going on with the WCW. I couldn't find much information on the Hardcore Hack. I thought that was maybe the one to go after, but let me know, and maybe someday down the road we'll have to do a '98 WCW. I have a bunch of them. I don't have any of the real valuable ones. I have a lot of the people I like, so that's kind of cool. I think I picked up Okerlund, who I'm a huge fan of, but I don't have the big names. I don't have the $500 to $1,000 ones. I have a bunch of them. I probably have like 15 to 20 of them, which is kind of cool. I think they're still cool cards. They were on card autos. So let's go forward to, and the next one is also going to be the War Booty Undertaker autograph. It's from the Fleer Raw's War Series 2001. This one, I think this one is kind of, I don't really want to say it's even cooled off, but I think it's just kind of like there's been so much more interest, and now we actually have had, this was kind of almost like the Triple H, where for a while there, I think this was the Undertaker's only autograph, and I mean, I think for a long time. And now we've seen some new Undertaker autographs introduced into some of the sets, so you don't have to have this Undertaker autograph in order to complete the set. So I don't think this is going to be one of the tops, but I just thought it should be mentioned. There's only 7 of them graded, and 11 total cards from that set. So it's not a high graded one either, so it kind of does a... Then you have the Farouk card, which I believe is from the Clash. The Farouk knee brace. You have a couple. You have the Hurricane Mask. Actually, I'm going to mention that one too. That one's from All Access. You have the Hurricane Mask. You have the Farouk knee brace. You have the trash can, and you have a steel chair from, I believe those are both from Clash as well. And they're all very limited in production. I've actually seen kind of the Farouk knee brace and the Hurricane Mask is the two that are really talked about, but at the same time, sometimes on the message boards, I think there at least was one person who was, and he or she still might be looking for the Hurricane Mask, and they were pretty much like, if you have a Hurricane Mask, I'll give you whatever you want for it, practically. And so sometimes your ideas can get skewed because, but that's all it takes is one big time buyer. And I was getting the impression like we're talking possibly $1,000 plus that this person was going to offer for it if anyone ever wanted to sell them the Hurricane Mask. So if that's you, go on the forum, just do some Google search and type in Hurricane Mask, and maybe you can get hooked up with someone who really wants to buy it now. With the way wrestling cards have gone up, maybe ask for $2,000 and maybe you can even get that much. So once again, I don't think those would be the cards that you'd get a new they're really cool unnumbered cards, and they're kind of a special niche, but I don't know if they're the greatest unnumbered cards that there are. And then you go, there's two other cards I want to mention, but they're more part of sets, and so it's hard to pick out the one card that would be, because there are more sets. Of course, we have to talk the 79, as it's called by many, the 79 Rax Roast Beef set. But who is the greatest in that? I mean, we have a couple. I know we have a couple David Schultz fans, Dr. D. David Schultz, and he's in that set. I actually would. You kind of have them. You have the Midnight Express, both Midnight Express rookie. I mean, everything in that set's going to be a rookie. So I kind of like both of those cards better as just as wrestlers. I mean, we're talking the Midnight Express here, and so that's the thing. And so you would be, and that's obviously, I mean, there's obviously people that are looking for those cards all the time, and so it's like, so I don't know how you'd put. That's gonna be a whole nother thing and stuff. We'll definitely have at least one episode on that, and I might have a few surprises for some people there. So we'll just kind of hold back on that for a little bit, but I had to mention that because each card in that set is something special, but I don't know if you could really narrow it down to one card as being this card, and then if someone doing the collection is like, good luck finding it. So then the other one I wanted to mention too that kind of goes along the same lines without, but a little more modern, so it doesn't quite get the love, but that's the 95 Panini set, and it's kind of ironic because now we're 2022 and we're talking Panini still, and it's the same company, but this is the 95 Panini set. And like I said, this is, I think, one of those cases where there isn't anyone, there aren't enough people advocating for the set, because it seems like it's about as rare as the Rax Roast Beef set. Obviously it'll do because the Rax Roast Beef set has 22 cards in it. I'll have to check on that. And the Panini set has, I should know this, I think it's 105. I think is it 25, 25, 25, 25, 4, and 1? It might be 20, 20, 20, 24, and 1, and that would be 85. So I should have had that. I do not have that in front of me. I'm not going to look it up. But so you have a wide, much broader, much more cards in the Panini set to get, and you have some possible rookies too. You'd have Isaac Yankem, who Kane would be his rookie, and I think would that be Triple H's rookie? and I think there'd be a couple smaller rookies than two that wouldn't be like maybe like the Godwins or something. And so Panini, yep, and until someone really does something with that set, I'd love to do an episode on that set too. That's a very, very interesting set, and it's that one is just so fun because it's like why is it so rare? Because it's 1995. I mean, we were mass producing everything at that point, and people could find it. I mean, we didn't. I don't think we were selling on the internet a lot yet at that point. We were just a lot of people were just getting introduced to the internet. A lot of people even still a couple years beyond that. So I had to bring that up. I guess the cane, but there'd be like 4 different, and I think there is one that's kind of more the standard base, and then the other ones are kind of, so you can kind of it just be whatever people want. So once again, you're not gonna call that the greatest unnumbered card. You're gonna call that a very unique set, just like the Raxos B set too. Very, very. They need, both of those sets need a whole category in themselves, and so they could be really good. So like I said, I don't think the Triple H is the greatest unnumbered card, but it's one of my favorites. It's one of the rarest. It's, like I said, 9, 10, or 11, depends on how they distributed everything. And it was 143 or 144,000 packs. So I kind of did some math, and it's like if you opened 2 packs a minute. So that's, if you're opening packs and you're opening those 2,000, you're flipping through them 2 packs a minute. It would take you 50 days to open 143,000 packs. 50 days of no sleep, just opening packs, 2 packs a minute. So that's a lot of packs to open to get the Triple H. And I really like this card because, well, Triple H is, I was never a big Triple H fan. I really liked DX, and I'm going to probably lose a couple more viewers right now, but I liked the DX when they were... I liked DX Their Return. It was like 2009. I think it was very end of 2009 to 2010 with Hornswoggle. And I'm sorry, well, Hornswoggle, I've met him many times. He does the conventions, and he is awesome. Fun to talk to. Very, very down-to-earth guy. Very thankful for his time in the business, which I really appreciate too. And I liked that we had the Christmas tree. We had him hang, and then we had the little. I didn't like the Little People's Court, actually. That was one part I didn't really like that much. But overall, and then even the thing and then they eventually with Jericho and the Big Show, and then with Tyson. And I was actually at that was Minneapolis, where they were at Tyson and as the guest host for the night, and he turned on Jericho. And Jericho is awesome. That was before the list, but Jericho could always do something. But then, so I liked, that was one of my favorite parts of Triple H. Sometimes I thought he put himself over a little bit too much, and having it in the family. I think sometimes I thought he got a little bit too many opportunities that shouldn't have maybe been his. So, but then I met him at WrestleMania 31 Access, and someone last minute had a extra VIP pack. I didn't get them, but someone sold it to me at face. I don't even think I was going to that session, and then I'm like, oh, Triple H VIP, this will be awesome. And if you've ever been to an Access or Access VIP, you have to go fast. Because they're trying to get through 300 of them in 2 hours, and so it's pretty much you go up there, shake their hand. You can maybe say one quick thing to them, and then they sign whatever you brought, and then you go, you get a picture with them. They have a professional. They're doing that. Then they're just getting you through. Had about 10 seconds with him. I thought he was great. I so thought he was just going to be like, oh, I have to be here. So no, he was trying to interact with the fans. Like the 10 seconds with him was very positive. It was almost like he was DX Triple H. Like he was just goofy and as you'll learn in these episodes, it's like if you meet someone, and I'm sure it's the same thing when you meet these wrestlers and they're awesome, or when you have positive experiences with them, it does make them better. And so I've liked him since then. I got a really cool. I got Triple H and Shawn Michaels on a DX picture together then, and it's one of my favorite things. And so I've kind of liked Triple H since then, and doing that. Well, this has gone long. As I can see why sometimes these episodes take like an hour. I can tell from how many times I've had to restart because about every 20 minutes I have to restart. Just the way my filming system works. And so I'm glad if you stick with me this long. I'm glad episode. Actually, I'm gonna probably. I did a box opening, and it's of. Oh, I guess I won't. It's actually 2011 Slam Attacks Rumble. And so I just thought that would be neat. I didn't want to do that as my very first episode, but I'll be posting that, and I'll drop that in a couple days then. And I'm gonna do I'll try to do a lot of box breaks and or just things, mail calls, and otherwise showing other parts of my collection, to more than one card at a time. As we go through these, I have some ideas for the first few episodes, and like I said, episode 5, we're going to be talking. We're going to drop some big news on the wrestling card world, and hopefully get some people talking, and then maybe we'll find out. Maybe someone else will drop the fact that they have it then too, and there'll be 2 of them in the world. But a new licensed set. I guess so I don't completely smaller. Subset, but a smaller set, and with so many other wrestlers too. We'll see if there's any. I don't even know if there's any other rookies, but there's one major rookie in the set that I'm really excited about. And hey, start guessing too. I'm not going to tell you if you're right or wrong, so you can guess below if you think you have an idea of who could have a rookie card. This is obviously the first card. I don't have time. I don't want to finish this episode with a big rookie card debate, but this is a licensed card, and it's marketed as a card. Like I said, it's a little oversized, but it's marketed as a card, and it was licensed completely as part of a set with other cards, and all wrestlers. It's definitely a wrestling set, marketed as a wrestling card set as well, and it's definitely the first card of this person. And there's other ways you can tell that is true, and there's not going to be a debate as whether the card. There'll be debates as this is oversized. This is not. It's not pack pulled and stuff like that. But this is an exciting rookie card. So who out there needs a rookie card that's even better than the rookie card they have now? Hopefully it's not someone you super collect, because right now that card is not even close to being for sale. But maybe you can start the search for one then too, and that's what we're here for. I love watching other people's content, and I'm gonna try not to comment on too many other things on there, because I mean we all do this, and people make mistakes. I've made a few mistakes today here. I don't always agree with everybody else, but we'll bring up. But if controversial subjects come up and stuff like that, we'll hit them as well. And so yeah, episode 2, 3, and 4. I just have a few. We're gonna talk some, I think, more individual card sets and some interesting cards that might come about. And we're always gonna try to see new cards, have some debates. I'm social media. I don't do it well. I'm gonna really, now that I have this going, I'm gonna really try to get into them. Wrestling UNAB. That's Twitter at Wrestling UNAB, all one word. Wrestling UNAB. So like Wrestling Unabridged, the first 4 letters. At Wrestling, tweet me things. I'm gonna try to start tweeting out cards more and stuff like that as well, so that we can, as I know that is a really hot thing. I do actually get on the wrestling cards, like the hashtag, and watch what other people do. Someday I don't sell a lot. I want to buy a little bit more, but I don't right now. I'm just kind of overwhelmed with everything in life. Life goes really fast, and trying to collect wrestling, like I said, it's so much fun though. Trying to collect wrestling cards is always something you're going to miss, but I try to catch as much as I can. And if you're watching this long, you love the hobby as much as I do then, and so we're going to have some fun together. Thanks for watching. I'm going to try to drop an episode a week, so episode 2 should come next week sometime. I don't have a specific day because my schedule just is really all over the place. So, but once a week, and like I said, episode 5, we're gonna drop a bombshell on the wrestling card world with a new rookie, and I'm really excited. I can't. Yeah, it's been years, and I've been looking for a second, and it's not out there. So I'm trying to figure out why this card and this set is so rare, but we'll let everyone else know too, and we can all search together then. So thanks for the first episode, and here's to many more.